Now, in this past hour, the Home Secretary Yvette Cooper has addressed the findings of Baroness Casey's report into rape gangs, declaring it as a deep-rooted failure to treat children as children. The Home Secretary highlighted that there was a collective failure to tackle questions about grooming gangs' ethnicity.
And on the key issues of ethnicity that I'd asked her to examine, she has found continued failure to gather proper, robust national data, despite concerns being raised going back very many years. In the local data that the audit examined from 3 police forces, they identify clear evidence of overrepresentation among suspects of Asian and Pakistani heritage men. And she refers to examples of organisations avoiding the topic altogether for fear of appearing racist or raising community tensions.
An overrepresentation of Pakistani men. People silent throughout because of a fear of being called racist. Isn't that what people have been saying for absolutely years? And despite not launching their own national inquiry during 14 years in power, the leader of the opposition, Kemi Badenoch, criticised the Labour government.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister's handling of this scandal is an extraordinary failure of leadership. His judgment has once again been found wanting. Since he became Prime Minister, he and the Home Secretary dismissed calls for an inquiry because they did not want to cause a stir. They accused those of us demanding justice for the victims of this scandal as, and I quote, jumping on a far-right bandwagon. A claim the Prime Minister's official spokesman restated this weekend. Shameful. It has been left to Conservatives time and time again to force this issue. 3 times, Mr. Speaker. 3 times. They can mutter now. They all mutter now. 3 times, Mr. Speaker, these Labour MPs voted against the national inquiry. They voted against it 3 times. Liberal Democrats didn't bother to vote at all. Asleep at the wheel. Labour MPs voted against a reasoned amendment to the Children's Bill.
What do you make of that? That's 2 political parties who, in 14 and a half years of power, never enacted a national inquiry into rape gangs until they were dragged into it, and they're falling out about it in Parliament. Well, let's now get the opinion of the independent MP Rupert Lowe. Mr. Lowe, welcome to the show. No doubt you'll share some of my chagrin towards Westminster today because you were so appalled by the inactivity of the political establishment. You decided to crowdfund and launch your own inquiry into rape gangs. But before we talk about that, Mr. Lowe, can we talk about your reaction today to the long overdue announcement there will at last be a national inquiry into rape gangs?
Well, you can call me Rupert, Martin. We've been in the European Parliament together. It's a welcome development. It's been like dragging or sucking blood out of a stone to get this inquiry. I, as you know, have been called a racist by Emily Maitlis relatively recently. I ignored it on the basis that it was she was trying to get herself out of a rabbit hole. We have started our inquiry. We've got lots of victims who are coming forward. We're discovering some pretty vile things. Amongst them, we put out a note today. We're finding the data simply hasn't been collected, as Baroness Casey has confirmed. So this is extraordinary, Martin, given the length of time this has been going on for, and given the fact that regulators sit in judgment on the private sector. I mean, the FCA or the PRA would simply not accept a private company not collecting data. They would be punished, fined, and thrown to the wolves, and probably publicly shamed. So I don't think there's an excuse for not collecting the data. I do think that it's required people like myself and Katie Lamb to stand up in the House of Commons, start to shift the Overton window. It's taken 20,000 people to subscribe to our private crowdfunder, which raised around £623,000. We're going to continue with that, Martin, because I think what the government's going to try and do now is control the narrative. We've offered to help the Prime Minister. I've written to him. I've also put out a 10-point plan that I think they need to incorporate into their inquiry. But the most important thing is that we have a national inquiry. It can't be, and I didn't like the sound of Yvette Cooper referring to local again. They like to silo it into local issues. What we need all police databases to be linked. We need to see the extent of this happening across the country, because our rape gang inquiry is finding that this was in extensive numbers of cities and towns across Britain. It's linked to county lines drugs, and it's a national issue, not a local issue. And until we actually get all these databases linked, we're not going to be able to hold to account the police, the social services, local government, and identify the main reasons why this has happened. And I suspect that is the bloc vote, the Muslim bloc vote, which Labour was very keen to protect. Fear of being called a racist, which, as you know, Emily Maitlis has labelled me now, which I've been badged with that. But frankly, I don't care. I think we've all had enough of that rubbish now.
Rupert Lowe, if I could interject, because I want a specific question to you. When you think that, for example, people like Shabir Ahmed, who was a welfare rights officer for Oldham Council, who was also the leader of the Rochdale rape gang, he got 22 years prison for that. When you actually think that that's precisely why they shouldn't be allowed to mark their own homework, because this is literally council employees, are you confident that today's recommendations have enough teeth to make sure that the people within councils, within police forces, within child protection agencies, within politics, the whole lot of them, anybody should be held accountable,
Martin,
and if necessary, go to jail for that?
Martin, it's a very good question. And I've been talking about this afternoon. I mean, the fact of the matter is, the question we should all ask ourselves is, do we trust the British state now? Do we trust the judiciary? Do we trust the judges? And as you say, they ultimately end up marking their own homework. And it's amazing how rarely they actually find any blame is apportioned to anybody within the British establishment. So whether we should have an American judge or some other person from outside our political establishment who's actually going to carry out this inquiry, I think probably we should. In the case of my inquiry, I've maintained the chair. We are going to do all the work which is being done at the moment, and we will then produce a report. But I think your question's a very good one. I personally, if you look at the Post Office inquiry, I lost a lot of faith in the government and the state there. That was a state company basically hiding the truth. And one thing I do think is absolutely essential is that every piece of evidence that this inquiry hears must be posted on X and all the public platforms so that the British people can scrutinise it in full, which is absolutely essential, Martin. Otherwise, it will be a case of ball, long grass, kick. And that's what we can't allow to happen. This is a blot, a stain on our national history, and none of us can move forward until we've actually exorcised it from our society. And we get at the truth. And it's not about racism. It's about right and wrong, black and white, good or evil. It's as simple as that, really.
OK, Rupert Lowe, Independent MP. Thank you for joining us there, MP for Great Yarmouth. Rupert Lowe, thank you. I'm joined now by Marlon West, whose daughter Scarlett was groomed by a gang in Greater Manchester. And Marlon has previously said he does not have any faith in the Labour government's approach to tackling sex abusers. And here's the big question. Has your opinion on that changed today, Marlon West? You listened to what the Home Secretary said, but before that, as painful as it is, Marlon, would you please mind sharing with GB News viewers the terrible plight of what your beautiful daughter Scarlett went through? A beautiful life, top of her class, an exemplary pupil, a wonderful child, and her life was suddenly changed by the cancer of rape gangs.
Yeah, as you know, I've done interviews for you before. From 14 years old, she was trafficked across the country. One of the areas what came up a lot was Bradford. And from 14 to 18, she was trafficked, she was tortured, she was raped by Muslim men. And, you know, she's 20 years old now, and she's extremely damaged from that, if I'm honest.
And Marlon, do you think that damage perhaps can never be undone personally? Although you're a wonderful, beautiful dad And I know you've thrown your entire life into this. You were begging for her to be released. You got in trouble, did you not, with the law yourself while trying to retrieve her from place? You couldn't have done more, and I hope you believe that. No, you couldn't have done more to protect your daughter. But on a serious point, do you have faith now? A lot of words today, a lot of posturing today. Do you have any faith that this can be stamped out in future? Because it's still happening right now. There are people still being prosecuted right now for this. And do you think people going way back, as long as it takes and as high up the food chain as it takes, do you have faith that they may face justice?
I've got very mixed views on this. I do welcome it because it's been a long battle. However, I thought I'd get more answers today whenever Cooper was speaking in Parliament. However, I've got more questions. You know, criminal prosecutions from the 16s. Yeah, that's great. But my daughter was groomed until she was 18. So from 16 to 18, does that not matter? Do I trust them? No, I don't. And the reason for that is, and it's the same as what Rupert's just said now, local inquiry. There's a lot of questions around that. One of the things what I am possibly more angry about is social services and the police force, not just how they treated Scarlett by not protecting her, but also how they treated me as a father. Mm-hmm. So is a local inquiry going to be run by local authority? And then we're back to the same argument of marking their own homework. That cannot happen. Especially, you know, I live in Tameside, and the cover-ups, what happened in Tameside, are unbelievable. And I don't think it's any different anywhere else around in the UK. We're not special from many of the survivors and families I've spoken to.
And Marlon, what would you like to see happen to these people? I mean, reports often say, we're going to learn lessons. This won't happen again. There's been a systemic failure. That won't do anymore, will it? That won't cut the mustard.
No, I don't want to hear the word again, lessons learned. There needs to be accountability for politicians, professionals, social workers, police officers, and criminal charges. Because I blame them for not protecting my daughter. They knew this is morally wrong. They knew what was happening to my daughter, and they turned a blind eye or accused me of being a bad father and not protecting her. And I couldn't do any more than what I was doing.
Can I ask you a personal question, if you don't mind? How is Scarlett now?
Scarlett is, you know, I know we use the term survivor, and I know why we use it, but Scarlett's not a survivor because she's still dealing with it every day. She hasn't, she might not be raped, but she's reliving it every day, and she'll possibly for the rest of her life. So how can she be a survivor? She's not a survivor. She's traumatized.
And what about you?
I'll be honest with you. It has destroyed my life. I've lost a lot of friends. I've lost a lot of family members out of this. I am very isolated and at times very low. But I guess I put my energy into campaigning. That's my therapy.
Well, I just want to repeat again, you know, I know your case very, very well. I just think you did anything that every father would have done. And actually, I think a lot of fathers would have gone a lot further, and perhaps they'd be the ones in prison. I think you did everything, you know, within your power. You played it as well as you could. Thank you for joining us, and please give our love on behalf of everybody at GB News and everybody watching the channel to Scarlett. And I hope she finds peace moving forward. Marlon West.
Thank you, Martin.
Always a pleasure, mate. Thank you.